Hello, everyone. I want to welcome you all to Drawing Metatron's Cube, part one of part 1 and 2. My name is Nadi Hanna, and I am so glad that you're here, whether you're here in person or you're watching this beyond time and space in the future. We are all connected in the quantum field, and the geometry has brought us together, and I am so grateful for your presence here, if it's embodied or not. So let's see, let me tell you, yeah, I'm going to wait on telling you. I want to give a few more people time to come into the room. And in that time, we're going to do a little drop in, couple of deep breaths together to let us, really arrive in the space and pivot towards receptivity, right? So I want to invite you to close your eyes if that's comfortable for you and bring your attention inward. Perhaps for the first time today, taking some nice deep belly breaths in through your nose and releasing out through your mouth. Connecting to the present moment through your breath. Connecting with your body, integrating all the parts of you, your heart, your mind, your body, your spirit, your energy body, starting to connect with the larger part of you through every breath. Bringing the fullness of yourself into your consciousness as you activate with the breath and simultaneously relax with it. Feeling yourself sinking into the surface, supporting you. And deepening your awareness of the space you're in. And becoming aware of how connected we are to each other beyond time and space, to the planet, to the solar system and the galaxies, feeling into everything that we are so connected to through our breath. And in that connection, take a last deep breath into your heart, feeling a sense of gratitude. Not your last deep breath, but one connected breath for the opportunity to do this together, for the expansion that you're walking into, for this human experience. As you're ready, come on back to our shared visual field. So it is really an honor to be with you all. I'm so excited. What I would like to do, I'll tell you for the next 2 hours, but I'll give you the overview as well for the larger 2 classes. 4 whole hours with Metatron's Cube. I'm so excited. I recently decided that it's impossible to contain everything that is Metatron's Cube in 2 hours. You could argue it's impossible to contain it in 4 hours. And I just keep expanding to try and cover all of the fascinating material and build in moments for the activations, which can be subtle and obvious. We want to make space for it all. So I've expanded from 2 hours into 4 hours. So what we're going to do is today, we're going to go over a little bit of information and give a sense of what we're walking into. And then we will draw the seed of life. We will start out drawing the seed and practice the compass and just get familiar with it. And they'll give us a little bit more information specific to Metatron's Cube. I'm going to have a general overview, the seed, and then Metatron's Cube. And then we'll get into drawing the cube. Now, I have the ability to flex with how our class goes, so we will see how far we get, and we will for sure complete the fundamental Metatron's Cube that is the hexagon and the star tetrahedron, and we will have a pause point there. I want to encourage everyone to actually do some drawing during the classes and practice and get a little more familiar with it. And then next week, we will draw Metatron's Cube from a different angle. We will go in just to give you lots of different tools. We'll go in a different way, and we will do the icosahedron and the dodecahedron. Those words might be familiar to you, but they might not. Those are platonic solids, and those are shapes that are contained within Metatron's cube, which I will go into more in a little bit. So we're going to have a good time. Next week, there'll be a little bit more esoteric information building on this week. And what I want to say, it's an absolute disclaimer. I'm going to throw a bunch of information your way, right? We're just going to go over this huge overview, which is a little bit ridiculous, but it's important to try to communicate how much is going on with the geometry. There are just layers upon layers of intelligence, technology, emotions, energy. Like, there is so much going on in this shape. And you all are brilliant enough to get that, right? You've tuned in. Some part of you is responding to a higher call and calling. And that's the place, that's where we're hanging out in the class, is those higher places, those energetic, sensory, spiritual capacities that we have. Those are getting the downloads. Those part of us that we are connected to, they're receiving the perfect amount of information. Meanwhile, I'll be kind of throwing all of these tidbits and details at you, and don't bother retaining any of them. You don't have to remember any part of the information. You don't have to remember the drawing steps, because I'll send you the PDF. So just sit back and relax and receive the perfect amount of information. Take the best, leave the rest, and it will stay with you beyond our cognitive capacities, right? What I would love to do is, I know it's ambitious, there's only 10 or so of us. I would love to go around and just hear everybody's voice. And I invite you all to think about the thing that brought you to this class. Like, what was it that drew you to the sacred geometry? Nice and succinct, just a sentence or two. And as you're sharing that inspiration, let's envision that attraction is going to be encoded into your geometry as we draw, right? So the thing that brought you here is already encoded in the geometry, but we're going to speak to it. No pressure. It's more of a fun invitation to say hello, have your voice come into the shared field. And I would love it. I don't want to pressure anybody, but if you don't want to talk tonight, if you're feeling quiet, just do pop on and say, hi, my name is so-and-so, good to be here. So no pressure. And I really love to connect and hear everybody. It changes the energetic. So keeping it brief and conscious of everyone on the call, I want to invite whoever would like to start to say hello, say what brought you here, say your name, and then we'll get into the information.
I'll go.
All right. Corinne, how are you? Hi.
I'm good. Hi. So I'm
Hi.
Corinne, and I just met you on Jocelyn's little spiel that you did with her the other day.
Great.
And I was excited to hear you because long ago I did a sacred geometry class with
Mhm.
somebody, but it's been probably 20 years. And I used to bring it into my sixth graders and have them try to, in the flower of life, try to find, the cube and some of the others. So I'm excited to play with you all tonight. Thanks.
Awesome. Yeah, sixth graders. Let's start it right. Oh, thanks, Corinne. Okay, I'm going to just increase my lighting here. It's very dark. Who would like to go next? So dark. How's that? Is that better? It's a little better. Yeah. I'm not above
Okay,
calling on people. Yeah,
I'll go
who's that?
next.
Is that Lisa?
It's Lisa. My name's
Hi,
Lisa.
Lisa.
Hi, and I'm in around the San Diego, Southern California area.
Mhm.
And sacred geometry has piqued my interest for a long time, and it keeps coming up, and then I get, sidetracked with something else. So I think there was something that you said that just really moved me this time to dive in, and it was something, if I recall right, it was just something about connecting to spirit and in I don't know, expanding my consciousness, and I'm all into that. So and I'm an artist too, so I just think it's gonna be fun.
Awesome. Perfect timing and connection. Great. Love it. Thanks, Lisa.
Mm.
I'd like to go next. Is that Nahum? Are you raising your hand? Cool. Raising hands, jumping in, we'll make it work. And you're muted though, so let's pop off mute for you. There you
Can
go.
you hear me now?
Yes, hi.
Hi. Well, actually, my name is Roberto, but
Okay.
it's my spiritual name.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see this. It's
No.
the Sira Jantra.
The Shri, yes, has brought this
Yes.
together. Yes.
So this I saw about 15 years ago. I was in the military, and this soldier from India kind of explained that very roughly what it was. And since then, I've been drawn to it. And since I was in the presentation, like somebody else said it. And so you inspire me. I say, oh, this person can give the answers that I'm searching. Yes. Yes.
Oh,
Thank
we've
you.
got the answers. Well, sacred geometry has the
Mm.
answer. It's
right.
Roberto, it's not Nahum. Either one is beautiful. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Glad you're here. The Shri brings us
Uh,
together as well. Thank you. All
Texas,
right.
San Antonio.
Oh, Antonio. Yes. Blessings. Many names to choose from. Awesome. Okay. I know everybody's jumping in. Thank you so much. All right. Kim Hua? Kim Huna?
Yep, hi. Hello,
Hi.
my name is Kim. Hi.
Hi.
I'm a grid worker and usually use light when I'm doing that. And so recently I started to use sacred geometry as I build things in the grid. And so when I heard you about integrating that in a physical sense, like that would integrate better with me, I mean, like lights were going off. So that is what has brought me here. Good to be with
Awesome.
everybody.
Oh, lovely. Integration, getting all sorts of good, juicy inspiration into the field. I just realized, with the exception of one beautiful human that I've known for a long time, all of you, I think, came from Jocelyn's the gathering, and that makes you all already awesome because you jumped into something that was expansive, wanting to build your, information database. I'm so excited. All right, here we go. Who wants to go next? Yeah, Pamela. It's just whoever I see first too. So
Okay.
hi there.
Yeah, like everybody else, I saw you on Jocelyn's thing, and what drew me in the most, I like the sacred geometry and stuff, but working with Metatron, because I've done some archangel work and things like that. So that and the art. I'm not an artist, but I love to dabble in art and do different things. So those two things really drew me in.
Fabulous.
And
Don't
your
need to be an artist. Yeah. Sorry,
and
what?
your enthusiasm. You were great on her talk.
Thank you. Yeah, there's no stopping me when I get on these subjects because I'm living what the geometry has done for me. I can't not shout it from the rooftops, and I love teaching about it. Lots of series, community colleges, wherever I can go to spread the word. I've seen the transformation in myself and so many. So you bet I'm enthusiastic and I'm happy to share that. Thanks, Pamela.
Mhm.
All right. Who's coming in next? Yeah, Pavan.
Hey everybody, I'm Pavan Jyoti. I'm a sound activator and have been guided how to use sacred geometry and healing work, and specifically like the flower of life. And I've been just recently figuring, oh, maybe I need to figure out how to draw it. And then I saw your exuberant presentation and I'm like, man, I'm all in on this. So thanks. That's why I'm here.
Oh, good. I'm so glad because drawing it, like unless you are sort of artsy oriented, it doesn't really register to draw it, right? That's kind of next level after we've been looking at it for a while. We're like, oh, wait, maybe I could do that. So the drawing is just next level of integration and entrainment and cellular alignment. We'll see about all of that, but you guys are brilliant. Thanks, Pavani. All right. Let's see. We've got a few more. Who hasn't gone yet? Jet, hi.
Hi, I do not know Jocelyn, so I don't know if it was me you were
You're
referring
one of
to.
the two. Yes, sorry, I left you out of the equation. Good to see you.
Yes, I I'm clairvoyant and I'm a healer. So I've met a lot of beings and guides over the years and people who've passed away. And in 2018, I was contacted by an Arcturian who I didn't know anything about at the time. I wasn't even interested in kind of like ET alien. And in the contact and in the information received a lot about sacred geometry, which also I knew nothing about. And right after that was your class. So I don't know, had a different name then. I've changed my name. So went to Nadi's class and yeah, have the geometry on my wall, just been really excited to also take another class with you, but haven't managed all these years.
Perfect timing. And
So
I
glad to
remember
be
you as
here.
Jet. So it's
Okay. Maybe I
yeah,
changed it and then I met the Arcturians because it was all kind of together.
I think it was right around there. Yeah. And I remember some fun conversations about all that. It's great to see you again.
Yeah.
Sorry to leave you off there's
Oh
two
no,
of
it's all
us that I've
good.
known
All
over
good.
time. Good to see you. All right, I've got a couple more. Mary Pat, hi.
So my enthusiasm with sacred geometry has come from many years working with labyrinths
Oh yeah.
and drawing them and walking them and helping to create them and beautify them with flowers. So flowers are also native flowers are a strong point for me.
Yeah.
Glad to be
Lots
here.
of geometry in the native flowers. Yeah. Beautiful labyrinth work. Oh, it's just so complementary. I mean, everything just goes together well. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you. All right. We've got a few more. Let's see. Beth, I think, Linda, Lieko, good to see you. Oh, Lieko's number 3. We just did a class together. Yeah, Linda, how you doing?
Hi, good. How are you?
Awesome.
So I'm Linda. I live in Olympia, Washington, and I have long been fascinated and drawn to the sacred geometry. And I've always been at the, I'm at the kind of the tip of the iceberg. And now I'm just inspired to go below and meet the encounter the mystical, magical part that that's a doorway into experiences that I've had in other places, and I just think this is so. There's so much more that I would like to understand about it.
Me too.
Yeah,
it's just the beginning. I mean, I'd like to say it's been a long time. It's been about 13 years that I've been, compelled by all of this, but I just feel like I'm scratching the surface. So I'm with you on the magic and the mystery.
it's
Yeah,
very compelling.
Yes, that's class 2.
Well, good. Any part. So
yeah,
thanks. You just caught me at the right time. So
awesome.
this is great.
Great. Glad you're here. All right. Let's see. We've got Maureen. Hi, friends. And Beth. Oh, Beth, you just hopped off of mute. Do you want to jump in, even though we can't see you still?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I couldn't connect headphones or a speaker to this laptop, and the volume has always been very, very low. So I'm sitting here with the laptop held up to my face, which is why I'm not exposing my face so that I can hear you. And I'm downloading the Zoom app on my iPad, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to use that or jump in with that when the download finishes. But as far as sacred geometry, I've always been interested. I was raised on Edgar Casey. My parents were members in the 50s, and
oh yeah,
I've been to Egypt many, many times. I was a flight attendant for 35 years, so that should explain everything. And there's a circle of life on the side wall of the Osirion in Abydos, Egypt. There's several of them actually, and they're always pointed out when you go to visit. And but I've also been interested in Plato and the Alexandrian school and things like that, where so many of these mathematical things originated. And although they say Plato actually got his information, I think, from India, that's what the rumor says. But I I was just on a cruise, believe it or not, in the Middle East, and we went to Syracuse in Sicily, which is the home of Archimedes, the famous Greek inventor. And so many the museum had so many of his inventions there, and another one in Greece, and it was amazing the mathematical principles that were these ancient Greeks had knowledge of.
Yep.
And so I'm just kind of interested in all of it. And when I heard your talk on Jocelyn's program, I thought, well, here's my chance to try to work with these concepts. So that's why I'm here.
Fabulous. Great.
You'll see my face next time if I can ever get something to work. I don't know why either my speaker that normally works perfectly or my headphones are not working when I plug them in. So
Not a
like I
problem.
said, I'm just gonna have to hold my computer.
Not a problem
Yeah.
for us. I will keep an eye out for your next if you come in on the iPad. Thank you for being here. Glad you
Okay.
are. And Maureen, how you doing down under?
I'm going incredibly well, especially as I'm here and look at the beautiful women, all the fabulous ideas. And Nadi, you're the one that can put all of this into one, so we all will learn from each other. I've done Nadi's classes before, and it's really, I've been interested in sacred geometry and crop circles for years. 30 odd years or so, but I've dabbled, but I've never found anything to keep me going. Well, I found Nadia, and there's the momentum to keep me going and expand into all the wonderful multi-dimensional aspects that are happening these days. It's yay. So I'm so pleased to be here with you all. And it was I had an appointment that was pretty fixed, and it cancelled. Anyway, I had a feeling it cancelled, but I couldn't confirm it. So it was a real last minute thing for me and a surprise for today, and I'm stoked. I'm really happy.
I'm so glad you're here. Metatron has arranged as such, clearly.
Well, that's the thing. I really need to know more about Metatron. That subject is pulling me in.
Yeah. Well, this will be an invitation to go deeper, and we'll do a couple details. But the drawing will activate and attract the information to you, no doubt, just as the cancellation has done. It's lovely to see you. Maureen and I are hardcore crop circle people. Once you start with the geometry, and I think Jocelyn, I was talking all about it, right? Like just crop circles are the next evolutionary stage. No pressure. So let's see. We've got Lieko, who was just in my 8-week sacred geometry drawing class on Portland Community College website, platform, either way. And it looks like she's muted and just watching, which is great. If you hop on, awesome. No problem if not. And it looks like we've got the mothership who's connecting with audio. I feel like I've seen this square before, so to speak. So it's good to have you here. It looks like you might not be able to jump in. Is that accurate, or are you present? Those 3 little dots of audio connection are always a telltale. All right. Yeah. If you want to jump in on the chats, of course, that's available. And I think we're ready to jump in. Am I forgetting anything? Probably. Really quick overview again. We're going to go over a small comprehensive nutshell of sacred geometry, and then we will pause. We will familiarize ourselves with the compass. We'll do some drawing. We'll draw the seed and just kind of get the hang of it. Then we'll go back into some Metatron's cube information. Then we'll get into drawing the cube. So yeah, no experience necessary. You are all intrepid travelers, and I'm so honored to be here with you. I really feel like I'm forgetting something. I don't think I am. I'm recording, which is a great accomplishment already. And I think that's it, because y'all heard some of my story, so it's great. All right, let's do it. Let's go into screen share and get this party started. Oh, good. Oh, here we go. Fabulous. Things are lining up. This is great. So here we go. Where is my friends? There they are. And I know that most of you, this is going to be familiar territory, right? And that's part of why they call the mystery schools schools of remembrance, right? Because this is information that we all know, but we have been cut off from, right? So we're starting off talking about the universe in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Nothing new to this crew, but we're shifting into the remembering of that. And part of why geometry is so cool, because vibration is the beginning, right? Vibration can be described as frequency, and then frequency can be expressed in numbers, cycles per second, and taking form and shape into geometries, right? So numbers can be perceived and organized this way. So essentially, we are moving from the invisible to the visible, from the metaphysical to the physical, and the geometry is the bridge, right? And I want to play this tiny little video for you, but it's just nice and validating for our efforts at grabbing a compass and a pencil and putting it to paper. This is Patch, a tiny cartoon character. This is like a 30-second overview of why drawing geometry matters. Let's play him. He talks kind of fast, and hopefully, I think it's going to work. Here we go. Maybe. No, absolutely not. That is so ironic. Usually I don't have audio, and now I don't have video, but it's just a bonus. So we're going to put Patch on the back burner this time. Maybe we'll see him next time. So I think I added this to the email that I sent out, where, just as a disclaimer, where this stuff can radically transform your reality. And I always try to say that, but there's no way to understand it until you're actually in it, until you've actually seen some of the transformation. But it's, put your seatbelts on, because this will open doors. And I'm going to come on a screen share for a second. I pop in and out of screen share just to prepare you. But I have seen it firsthand, how much influence the geometry has. And I am comfortable saying now that it's almost a guarantee, because it might be really subtle, but it can also be really obvious and kind of like a cosmic 2x4. So the disclaimer has been stated. I'll go back into it. Oh, I bet I could do this, optimize video clip, and we could go back to Patch. That's what I wanted to do, but I didn't want to interrupt everything. But here we go. Let's give it a try.
Everything in the universe is geometric.
Everybody
Whether it's
getting that?
people, trees,
Hope so.
cats, planets, solar systems, stars, you name it. Anything in the universe can be measured on a geometric scale. Having said that, it's important to note that creation is also geometric. What we're going to be looking at today is the pattern of creation. Essentially, what this means is that everything in the universe comes out of this single pattern. I'm not making this up. This single image will change everything. When I mentioned in Lesson 5 that the ancient Egyptians and even more ancient civilizations knew about a deeper, basic understanding of the universe, this is the flower of life, and it is also the creation pattern of everything in existence. Even non-tangible things, emotions, thoughts, music in its entire spectrum, everything comes from this image. Okay, so there are 13 information systems that comes out of the flower of life. Today, I'm going to show you how physical reality can manifest itself, which is just one of the 13 systems. In future lessons, we will look at more. It's also important to note that at first it may not make sense. I ask that you do not choose immediately to shut this out, and just watch with an open mind, and try and see this in a new way. Also, I want to tell you that by learning about sacred geometry simply by observing, you are absorbing only a very minuscule amount of information. If you really want to learn more, you must begin to draw it yourself. I kid you not, when you do this, you begin to see things in a new way. You begin to understand why things are done in the way that they are done. Promise.
All right. Promise. Was everybody able to see that? Okay. Okay. Thumbs up. I figured someone would jump in and if it wasn't. And just as a resource, Patch is a character in YouTube videos, 12-minute vignettes of very esoteric information. Merkaba's astral fields, Akashic records. It's really broken down into user-friendly videos. So I will try to remember to send that in the email, follow-up email. Okay, great. Here we go. Let me see. We've got all of it. There's Patch. No, see, I've lost you guys in my gallery view, but I guess that's all right. So we are going to look at 3 primary shapes today. So briefly, again, just to remind you and remember how much connection, how much relationship there is between us and the natural world, and how these patterns, this phi ratio, this golden spiral, how it's everywhere in the natural world, right? And we can begin to bring our attention to that connectivity. And in that effort, right, we begin to create a sense of unity consciousness by noticing that everything has a geometric pattern, by broadening your awareness to the knowledge of the bigger picture and the bigger patterns, and the phi ratio being one of the most prevalent, this beautiful spiral geometry that is the pattern of how space divides itself, right? Space, you can add this pattern infinitely expansively. You can also subtract it to an infinitely small scale. And the magic of this pattern is that it will never end, right? The small scale is our DNA, right? We've got this infinite expanse of the cosmos and down to our DNA and beyond that. But this is one of the smallest units of measurement that reflects that geometry in us, right? This is so fundamental. If you think about our geometric structure and our blueprints for, the templates for our entire reality, our entire construct are formed through the genetic coding that is in the geometric form of a phi spiral, right? And so tuning into this just builds this natural connectivity of understanding that on the scale of the human is connected to the scale of the cosmos through this geometry, right? And so this golden ratio, this spiraling geometry, there is so much in here. There is the partnership of the divine masculine and divine feminine, the curvature and infinite nature of that flowing divine feminine, and then the structural, linear, mathematic partnership of the divine masculine, and how they marry together. When you study this phi ratio and when you work with this, you are actually very subconsciously aligning and activating the masculine and the feminine within yourself, calling it in more into balance. And then there are, so there's the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Then there's this magical ratio, which is part of why it continues on an infinite scale. That ratio being the segment of B here, which is the segment of 1, right? And then this other segment of A is 1.618, right? So this isn't necessarily a ratio of 1 to 2. It's a ratio of 1 to 1.618. And that harmonic is what continues, results in it continuing infinitely. And that ratio is part of who we are, right? So it's everywhere in our bodies. Here you can see on the hand, the hand is the segment of 1, and then up to the elbow is 1.618. And I am sure that some of you are familiar with this, but I just want to remind you how amazing that is, that the ratio of 1 to 1.618 is, in that segment of our body. The segment of fingertips to elbow is 1. Fingertips across to the shoulder is 1.618. Head to your torso is 1. Head down to your feet is 1.618. The entire situation here is built on this ratio, right? So you start to get this invitation of like, oh, there's a larger something going on here. You've got the male-female principles. You've got this beautiful proportion, the ratio. And then we're going to see in a second, there's some math that's really cool. And I am fundamentally not a math person. I am on the metaphysical side of the whole thing. And through this shape, I have not only repaired the trauma of math for myself, I have fallen in love with math through this shape. And that's a really big statement. So I'll show you why. It's really, it's so beautifully simple as well as complex, which is part of how why the geometry is so cool, right? But all throughout our bodies, you'll see this this formula, right? Even down to the structure of our brains, right? If you start from the frontal lobe and you spiral it in, it's going to end at the pineal gland, which we all know is the seed of our spirit, our soul, and, very high level element of our system. So it's kind of everywhere, starts to get exciting. That's the ratio part, right? With masculine and feminine, this beautiful ratio. And then the mathematics, right? The ratio is partnered by this equation that is called the Fibonacci sequence. And what that is a basic formula that says the two integers add on each other to create a third integer, meaning 1 and 2 is 3, 2 and 3 is 5, 3 and 5 is 8, and on and on. It will add infinitely. It will also subtract infinitely, but we're not going to go in that direction for today. So 13 and 21 is 34, on and on. And it's the only shape that does not require a third integer. It just adds on itself. It's this beautiful harmonic relationship that promotes balance because it's in perfect harmony with itself. And this is part of why I fell in love with math. So you can read this equation as we normally do from left to right. 1 and 1 is 2, 1 and 2 is 3, 2 and 3 is 5, on and on. It's just going to look normal, and you can do that on to infinity. Cool part number 2, you can read the equation down from the top to the bottom on the far right column. So you can see 2 and 3 is 5, 3 and 5 is 8, 8 and 13 is 21, on and on and on. This is just the beginning of how cool this equation is. Then, as if that wasn't enough, you can look over at the first column, and that column reading top to bottom also is the equation. 2 and 3 is 5, 5 and 8 is 13, 34 and 55 is 144. Super cool. But then look at the central column also. You can do the same thing there. 13 and 21 is 34, 21 and 34 is 55. Left to right and top to bottom on all 3 columns, right? If that isn't God, I don't know what is. And when I say God, I mean source. I mean, however you reference the divine, the force, however, that is the most genuine, benevolent entry point into understanding that there's a mathematic equation to consciousness. So onward, that's the phi. And I probably put other things in here about the phi, but we're going to see, right, there's the Fibonacci right in our bodies, just like we had the ratio. 2 and 3 is 5, 3 and 5 is 8, resulting in the bones of the hand, and it's just everywhere in our bodies. So part of what makes this stuff sacred is that it is us. It is our fundamental geometry. And then it's everywhere else, right? When we see iconic arts, and pieces that endure, it's because they incorporate this ratio, and then we relate to it on very subconscious realms, right? It's in art, it's in architecture. Using these harmonics creates a resonance with our psyche, right? And we don't even know why. This is all very, very under the radar. We just know that it's pleasing. We know that it feels good, and feels solid, and, I could say predictable, but that's going a little too far. But these are iconic pieces, and they are so because they incorporate these proportions. And this is, these are consciously built pieces. They use those harmonics. The study of pyramid technology is a real lifetime of study, but it's, it also incorporates the geometry and the phi, and it's kind of on and on. It's in music, it's in cosmology, it's in bioresonance, it's in astronomy and astrophysics, you name it, geometry is in there, as well as our modern world, right? There's a big element of noticing, beginning to understand how the geometry is used to influence us, and that is a gentle word compared to what's really happening. So all over the place, the harmonics are used to influence our psyche. They're used because they're so powerful, right? Sacred geometry is, pop out again, that's obviously a familiar icon. sacred geometry is so powerful that it has been used to negatively influence us, right? And so starting to draw it and study it is an empowerment practice. You're starting to learn how prevalent it is, and there's a reclaiming, right? Because the geometry speaks to us in the 90% of our consciousness, our subconscious mind that is governing our waking reality, right? We all know that statistic, right? 10% of our conscious mind is governing our waking reality. 90% of our subconscious is governing our programming. So the geometry speaks to archetype and symbolism, and it's calling back that 90% of our subconscious. So really empowering. Keep going with that. Let's see, where are we at? Got to keep an eye on time. We're going to get right into the seed. Here we go. I'm going to speed past the rest of it. We've got how the geometry's influenced us, right? And I don't know what that is. Here is part of how it plays into, the phi ratio is connected to the triangle, right? The tetrahedron. Here's the ratio 1 to 1.618. All of this plays in, and I am actually going to speed through after my time check. All of this plays into the relationship of the different shapes, right? The phi is related to the pentagon. The pentagon is fundamental building blocks of our natural world, right? We can see it, was it Mary Pat who talked about the natural world, right? And the flowers and all of the beauty, as well as all of the man-made stuff, and starting to question why is the geometry used, right? We've got the beautiful pattern of the circle, right? Fundamental structure, shape of all reality starts with a circle. We're going to draw that in just a minute. Here's the two circles that overlap to create this beautiful infinite portal of possibility. And it's been used, right? It has been used so powerfully to influence us, to manipulate our reality. And so just paying attention to these things. And I'm feeling like we've got the general idea there. I think that I go into the phi and the pentagon and the hexagon, all of these fundamental structures that are everywhere. And I do that to remind us, right? But I think that keeping an eye on time, wanting to get right into Metatron's cube, I want to get into drawing. So I'm cutting that one a little bit short. Let me do one thing, actually. There's just a couple more slides that I do want to show you about the sacred geometry, about the connectivity. Got a little carried away in all of the good, juicy information, but we're going to do just fine. So there's the hexagon, right? Fundamental structure. Just going to kind of stay in this zone for a while so I can slip around. Hexagon, six-sided shape. That's where we see the sacred geometry, right? That we start with the seed, six-sided shape. It's going to build into the flower of life. And we've seen how the geometry is sacred because it is us. And then it's also sacred because it is everywhere, right? We see it in all of the temples. It's part of what unites us and indicates when we've got significant and important aspects of our culture, right? We see the geometry used. And lastly, coming back to our biology, coming back to us, right? I am going to highlight this screen. We're going to draw the seed right now. This is us, right? The seed of life. And then Metatron's cube that's based in the seed of life mirrors the bifurcation of cells after the first moments of conception, right? So we've got the ovid and the two that form the vesica Pisces into the 4 circles, the bifurcation into 8, and then 64. And so it's all really related. We're going to draw this right now. I'm going to come out of screen share and we're going to talk about how to use a compass. Woo! Sacred geometry in 5 minutes or less. So I want to be able to get into the cube, and we will, I promise you. All right, everybody's got their pad of paper and their pencils and compasses and a few colored pencils for today. So I think everybody got the materials. I kind of belabored the point because people have actually showed up without drawing materials before. So couple of tips, show of hands of who's used their compass before, who's familiar with one. Yay. Okay. Oh, perfect. A couple of us. Okay. Is my video working okay, or am I on a super lapse? What's going on? Fabulous. Okay. So as you read, all of your compasses will work unless you have a plastic one, right? So we're going to start with the compass at a nice wide stance, right? We're going to do at least bigger than an inch, just a little bit, you know, some easy width, natural width. And the reason we're going a little bigger is because starting when it's smaller is very challenging, right? So we're going to open it a little bit. And the points that you want to pay attention to, number one, is you want to anchor the compass nice and firmly in the paper, right? And you want to start with your compass and your the compass point and the pencil being level, right? Or equal. So you're going to anchor the compass nice and sturdy in there. And there are two techniques, right? The first thing that matters is you want to tilt your compass away from you, right? And I'm going to spin the paper, which is the first technique. And that creates this nice, easy flow. You can just hold the compass steady and you spin the paper and you're going to get a solid circle every time. It's a really great way to start. And then you can practice the other technique during the weeks. Try that. It's a guarantee. If you want to start off with the wrist spinning strategy, right? Again, you want to tilt the compass away from you. And then it's just going to be, you're going to have to feel it out. It's this, you want to use the nub tip of the compass as best you can. If you hold it down here, you're going to change the width of the circle, and that's going to be disappointing, right? So just do some practice circles together. It looks simple. It takes a minute to get, right? So give yourself a moment to play around. We'll do it together. I'll talk for a little bit while you're practicing. You can play with different widths and you can just feel into whether or not it's better for you to spin the paper or spin your wrist. And there'll be that little chunky moment where you're kind of, you get halfway through and then you're like, oh God, how do I get the next part? You know, and that just takes practice and you'll get it. And that's part of what I love about these is that with just a little bit of practice, you can get the feeling for it and everybody can use the compass. It works out. So just a little bit of time for everyone to practice and get the hang of it. Got a few just, everybody going. Linda, are you good with the practice? Do you have your compass? Are you watching today? Just watching today? Okay. All right. I can see everyone moving, but I wanted to check in with you. It looks like Kim is opening up the case. It's so strangely voyeuristic where I can see all of you, but you know, you're not watching each other. And so practicing is perfect. Yeah, Maureen, what you got?
Through the classes, people were saying they're making these beautiful drawings, but they're making holes in the next page. So I've always put a sheet underneath, then you're not scared of the compass making a hole, and it just helps to keep the book happy.
Awesome tip. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think at the beginning, it's okay to make holes. Like just wreck the paper with everything. But thank you, because that does actually save paper and it does leave the next paper available. I appreciate that tip. So as best as you can, if you're spinning the paper, it's easier to hold it up here. If you're holding up here, just practice, right? And try, oh my gosh, it does double as a weapon. Just practice not dropping down, right? That's the only bit that's going to matter. Meaning not dropping down on the compass to pinch it. So let's see, there's a couple other things. This is going to activate your critical voice, right? Instantly right now. So many of us are going, oh man, I can't do this. You know, there's just a process of internal accusation, no matter what we do. So from the start, it's an invitation to allow patience, compassion, support, loving kindness with the process and the fact that you're doing this for the first time. And how cool is that? So you might get it, you might not. There's always the pressure of doing it in a class. That's really real. And if it just feels like too much, you can go back and practice at your own pace, which is wonderful as well. So as you are giving some circles, that you're warming up your wrist, you're getting the feel of it, I want to say that part of why I love this class so much is because we can all move at different paces. Some people are going to catch on faster than others. And those people who get to the finished shape, that's the opportunity to pause and breathe and meditate. Meditate on this shape, because as we've seen, it is everything. It's all of us. And when you draw it, you're activating things in yourself. And when you sit and breathe with it, you're starting to embody. That's activation, right? So you'll always hear me as we're, trying out the steps. I am going to do my best to make sure everybody's along for the ride and that we don't leave anybody behind. So there's a lot of important messages in that practice as well. Sometimes, instrument failure, things happen where we have to move on, but we're going to do our best to make sure everybody's included. All right, we've got some practice circles. We're ready to jump in. Okay. What I would like you to do on a fresh sheet of paper, excuse me, is to open your compass to the width of 2 inches, right? So we're going to get a nice wide circle, and this will open up the seed, and you want to measure 2 inches is our radius. It's our width, it's our radius, and it's going to create a 4-inch circle. And we're going to make a seed of life on the paper, and we're going to unfold with how you're going to see how it unfolds, that 7 circles can create a seed every time. All right, it looks like Jet's already going for it.
Can I ask a quick question?
Of course, please do.
If my paper is not quite large enough, should I make my compass a little smaller?
Yes, what size paper do you have?
It's 12 by 12.
12 by 12. Okay, good to know. 2 inches will fit on this one.
Okay.
Okay. But your measurement will be different for measuring to the center of the page. So 12 by 12, go ahead and find the center of the page. Here's what we want to do. The next step, once we've got the width of our compass, is taking your ruler. We're going to, on the vertical axis, right, straight up and down, we're going to measure, if you have an 11 by 14, we're going to measure to 5.5 inches on the vertical axis, right? That's going to give you the center of the page. We don't need it on the horizontal. We're not at risk for going off the page on the horizontal. 5.5 inches in, and Corinne, that'll be 6 for you, right? So finding the center of the page, I'm an eyeballer. You can go ahead and eyeball most of the time, but it's very disappointing if we go off the page on the first shape. So I've learned to study and center. So we've got center of the page. Now, keep in mind, the only cue that I have that you all have successfully followed the instruction is that your heads come up, right? Otherwise, it's just that heads are down, and that's all I have. So I will move forward at the pace that I think is appropriate. If you need another second, just pop in with your audio, because I can't always see everyone. All right. So we've got center of the page, and I want you to darken in the center points, right? Because we're gonna focus on that center, right? It's all metaphorical. We're gonna stay connected to the center. All right, so got the center point nice and darkened in. I'm going to go back to the screen share, and we're going to do this together. You're going to see my circles move across the top and bottom of the page, but yours will stay at the center. First circle, that's your compass point. Go ahead and create your center circle. All right, here we go. So I'm at the top left, you're in the center, and I'm not sure why, but let me see, can I share my gallery? I've lost gallery view, so I can't even see one video and use a cue from that. So really, if you need me to pause, hop on with your voice, because I can't see anybody. So you've got that central circle, right? And that's going to be our origin point, okay? So what we're going to do now, I'm going to pop in and out of screen share. We've got our central circle. Right now, this next part is an eyeball point, right? You do not have to be precise. None of this has to be precise. It won't be. You want to put your compass at the bottom vertical point of the circle, right? So just right on a vertical axis, just put your compass bottom of the circle. It's totally fine if it's not, to the right or left. You could actually start on any part of the circle. And I'm going to show you what it's going to look like next. right? So we're going to build a circle below that central circle, right? So compass point will go here, and then second circle comes from that point. And what we're going to do is we're going to build around clockwise. As you start drawing, I want you to encourage you to always build consecutively, right? So one of the most powerful okay, there we go. All right, great. Oh no, am I doing something else? There we go. So we've got these two circles, right? And the geometry is always showing us where to go. So you've got, and I'm going to actually ask everyone to mute because I think I'm hearing dinner time silverware. I'm not sure, but just in case everyone else can hear that. Left and right intersection points of this beautiful third shape, the vesica Pisces. We're going to put the compass point right here at that intersection on the left side. Compass point is going to go right there, and you're going to draw your third circle. And in a super cool way, it will start to overlap, possibly, with those two center points that we just had. Right? So that's going to give you this shape, the third circle here. So you've got center circle, bottom circle, and now we've got one to the left, bottom left. I'm going to come out of screen share. Everybody getting that? I don't want to move too fast. All right. Is that a question, Maureen? Or okay, Corinne's got a thumbs up. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I got lost here. Are we a 2-inch diameter or radius?
Yes, 2-inch radius.
Radius. 2-inch radius. That's big. Yeah. Okay.
2 inches, 2 inches wide. Yeah. And that'll give us, I like to make sure we're going to stay on the page. All right.
Yeah.
Yes. So we've got, you got it? Good. Center circle, bottom, and then left. We've all got 3 circles. Is it working out?
No.
Nope. All right. What you got, Beth?
Well, this is a good Fisker's compass, but it has this little piece of lead that goes in on this side and the lead keeps falling out.
Yes. Okay. It's always the utensils. My guess is that you're not tightening down the little knob, the little knot right at the bottom. Tighten it really hard, and that will help you to get the circles.
All right, I'm trying.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Have you measured to the center of the page? Yeah.
Yes, I've got 1.5 circles. And then
oh, great. We've got some circles. Okay, awesome. So just tighten it really hard. I've seen that happen before. And then once you get it down, it should stay the same. All right. So hang in there. Otherwise, we've got 3 circles. Looks like heads are still down. Okay, we've got 3 circles. So now top circle, bottom circle, third circle. And what this is doing is giving us a pattern, right? Beth, I'll check on you in a second, but I want to show everybody the next pattern. Okay. Right. So we've got 3 circles. Now at the top, top end of this, there's another intersection, right? The circle that we make is always intersecting with that center circle. That's why that center circle is so central. It's so important. So intersection up here at the top, that's where your compass is going to go, right? That's the 4th point. And when you put your compass there, that's going to give you the 4th circle. It's going to look like this down at the bottom. Beth, how's it going? Is it coming together?
Yeah, I'm on the 3rd circle. Then I'll move over to the 4th one.
Fabulous. Well, I'm going to give it a minute to make sure we're all together, right? So you can start to see we're building something. And the beautiful thing is it's that repeated pattern of one circle intersects with the center circle, and it gives you your next point, right? So then we've got the top, right? And that becomes our next intersection point. So then the next circle looks like this. And I will pause here for a moment. Usually there's this, we're going fast. We want to make sure everybody's on the same page. And if you've gone forward beyond this and you've gotten to the seed, remember, this is a great place to breathe, right? And integrating all of this information, integrating the practice into the wholeness, right? So we've got 5 circles now. Is it 4 circles? Right. Well, 5 total. And then you can see we're building to the right, and you've got an intersection point here, right? This next one that's evolved. I'm going to come out of screen share. Is everybody getting it? All right. Jet is meditating with the circles. That's awesome. noticing what arises, if there's anything, seeing what it feels like. Looks like we've got some heads down. Kim is definitely looking at a completed circle. That is the smile that comes from it. And then let me just get back to here. We've got that last intersection, or sorry, this intersection point, that last, the fifth circle, technically the sixth, the fifth circle creates this last divot down here. And that's where the compass is placed for the final circle, which then you get your seed, right?
Wait.
Mm-hmm. I am grateful for everything that the Zoom brings to us in terms of international connection and recordings, but I very much miss the in-person classes, right? Where you can hear everybody and you can, I can walk around and see where everybody's at. I can't see where your drawings are. So, it looks, I'm getting the look back. I'm getting the observation stance. So it looks like a couple people were there. A couple people are coming along. So, all right. Kim's launching us by holding it up, and I won't be able to spotlight everybody, but let's do a thing. Oh, look at that. Oh, when you have your blur on, it can't, or pull back a little bit. Oh, you do. When you have your blur on, it won't work. All right. But what I'd like to do is, I didn't know you could blur on a phone. What I'd like to do is have everybody just hold up your seed at once so that we can all see that we've done it. We've all accomplished this beautiful pattern, right? Seed of life, just like that. All right.
Is it right?
It
right?
looks, yes, it's Jet, that's a really big one. That's awesome. Pavan, it's good. I see that they all look, everybody went away fast. Beth, yours has one extra circle, but it looks good. Looks like everybody's got that. Spectacular. All right. Now, when I talk with Beth for a second, sit and breathe with this. Cool. Mary Pat, looks beautiful. So, Beth, show me it to me one more time. Show it to me one more. So, drop it down a little bit. What you want to do, yeah, pull back from the screen. So, let me see it still. All right. So at the top of your page, right at the top of your page, there's an intersection up there, right? So point to it, that one. That's where the next circle goes. Yep. So put a circle there.
Okay.
And then once you do that, you're going to see this big divot of those two circles, and your compass goes at that divot. All right. And you've got an extra friend hanging out down at the bottom. So you can erase that one. And you're actually helping to demonstrate why we focus around the center circle, because this is an infinitely repeating pattern and you can just go off in any direction with the circles, right? So you highlight that center circle because it's easy to go off. And Beth, I imagine you've got it by now. So well done for hanging in there. Does anybody have any questions before we head into some Metatron's info?
Okay, so this one I erase?
Yes, that you've got that extra friend hanging out, just wants to party with us. So well done, everyone. If you haven't done already, let's take a nice deep breath. We'll pause, appreciate the process. All of a sudden, you've just got sacred geometry accessible to you anytime.
Oh, where's my...
Well done. Very well done. All right. So, brilliant. Any questions before we go on? I think we're all on the same page. We want to jump into some Metatron. So hard to keep up. Here we go. All right. Let's get a little bit of information going on, or a lot. Here's our breathing slide. I am just gauging the information on what we're doing. All right. Here's what we have. Because we have another class, I'm adjusting and I know exactly what we're doing today. So Metatron's cube, all of that information about the seed and all of the building and the fundamental geometry are important because it shows us where we're going, right? We're going to build on the seed of life, and that's going to turn into the flower of life. And a lot of you are familiar with that shape. It's manifests many different ways, right? So the flower of life can look like this shape on the top left. It can look like this shape in the center. And it's that center circle. And if you're not on mute, I'm going to ask you to mute because we just heard you cough. So center circle, sorry, that surrounding circle is called the vesica. Nope, sorry, the zona pellucida. It's another Latin word, and it's the Latin word for the cell membrane for our biology again, right? So if you take that cell membrane off, you get this full expression of the flower of life. And you have to take that membrane off. You have to take that containing wall off. You have to liberate the flower of life, because that's how you find the pattern for Metatrons, right? That's how you find these 13 circles in this 6-sided shape, right? And so the information in Metatron's cube is in the flower of life, but if it has that circle ring around it, you won't find it. So you got to take the circle ring off. And then we're going to get into seeing these 5 incredible shapes that are contained in Metatron's cube, and they are called the Platonic solids. Right now, I am going to breeze through this stuff, and believe me, we will come back to it next week. So part of the significance of Metatron is that it contains these 5 shapes. These are the only 5 shapes in the universe that adhere to 3 criteria, right? The 3 criteria are: number 1, that the inner angles of the shape are all the same. Number 2, the faces of the shape are all the same. And number 3, if you put it in a circle, the points will touch equidistantly, right? 3 criteria. These are the only 5 shapes, and really powerful for that reason, but also because they represent the 5 elements, right? This is a shift. This is a shift in consciousness from 4 elements to 5 elements, right? And these 5 shapes are the tetrahedron, which represents the element of fire. The octahedron represents the element of air. The hexahedron, the element of earth, also called the cube. The icosahedron, element of water, and the dodecahedron, the element of ether. And those are the 2 friends, the icosahedron and dodecahedron, that we're going to draw next week. Today, we're going to focus on the tetrahedron and the hexahedron, and then the octahedron will happen magically, but it will disappear into behind the cube and the tetrahedron. So these 5 shapes, these 5 elements, beginning to bring earth, air, fire, water, and ether into our consciousness, right? This changes the game because we are connecting with the elements, right? Outside of us, within us, these shapes, as we're drawing them, they're bringing us into harmonic relationship with the elements of ourselves and the natural world. And these shapes are hidden everywhere in plain sight. I'm going to go into this a little bit more next week, but we are moving with them all the time. They're on our subconscious mind, and the drawing of them creates that conscious connection and that empowerment to the elements. Here is how those Platonic solids fit into Metatron's cube. In the top left is the tetrahedron. Here's the cube in the middle. On the right is the icosahedron. They're so pretty, aren't they? The bottom right is the octahedron. In the center here is the dodecahedron. Fabulous. But the secret key here is that the tetrahedron leads us to the star tetrahedron, right? And the reason that's important, probably most of us on the call know, is that your star tetrahedron is your Merkaba. It's our light body. It's literally the geometric structure of our energy field. Right? And so when you're tapping into the Metatron's cube, when you're tapping into these shapes, you are, I promise you, on subtle realms, activating your Merkaba. You are activating your light body, which is the way to actually travel through the universe, right? If we could drop these spacesuits, right, we could just use the wormholes and manipulate space-time and go have a fun time in the cosmos. But we don't know how to do that. We've been cut off from that. But there are practices, right? This practices from June Melchizedek's Ancient Secrets of the Flower of Life. There are practices where in meditation you can envision the 2 tetrahedrons rotating clockwise and counterclockwise, male and female, all of this. And you are beginning to bring your system online, right? And when you begin to do that, you can open to various forms of intelligence and information that are available to us. So Metatron's cube, Platonic solids, 5 elements, star tetrahedron, Merkaba, light body, right? So far, we're tuning into so much through this shape. And I always like to give a shout out to the crop circles, because you have this advanced civilizations communicating to us, and lo and behold, they send us some geometry in the shape of a Merkaba and a 3D star tetrahedron. Super cool. And these things are alive, right? Like we're looking at this nice 2D version, but just remember, these are 3-dimensional shapes. These are multi-dimensional shapes blipping in and out of space-time. And we are connecting with our multi-dimensional nature with this shape. It's alive, it's moving, and we've got this tiny little 2D form. Really, it's a 3D form. Really, it's a multi-D form, and really, it's tapping into the Akash, right? It's tapping into the quantum field through geometry. So much is going on when you're drawing this shape, right? So Archangel Metatron, I know someone was focusing on the angels and Archangel Metatron, and Metatron was one of 2 archangels that had a physical incarnation on the planet. And in that incarnation, Archangel Michael was known as Thoth, Hermes Trismegistus, Enoch, all of these heavy hitters, right, that were part of the scribes of human civilization. They brought us the written form, cuneiform, like all of the different ways of recording our experience came from the incarnated aspect of Metatron. Right. So then ascension involves going up to the higher levels, and he becomes the scribe of the universe, the Akashic records. Right. So when you're connecting with Metatron, you're connecting with your elements, you're connecting with your light body, you're connecting with the Akashic records. I make no huge claims here, but you really are tuning on so much, and it's happening in your subconscious field. We've got this fun little exercise we're going to do. I promise you it's turning on. Oh my God, Metatron's cube in 10 minutes or less. It's just ridiculous. But we're going to get into some drawing. Does anybody have any thoughts or reflections before we do that? It's just so you can see how much there is going on, right? I can at least just put words to it. Thumbs up on that. All right. Everybody look good, ready to dive in and draw. All right, thumbs up. Let's do this after I've bombarded you with that information. Let's bring yourself a fresh piece of paper, nice and clean, and let's just have a breath with this beautiful open canvas, right? Breathing into any kind of intention, feeling, energy, anything that you'd like to supercharge this geometry with. If you have a word, if you have an intention, anything, it's really fun to start out with that conscious awareness before you draw the geometry, right? Because then you're anchoring that frequency into the formation. And then when you look at it tomorrow, when you put it on your wall, it's going to be feeding back that intention. It's going to remind you of the efforts that you've made to manifest that intention. My lighting just got really weird, so I'm going to tune that down. Okay. Blank canvas, clean slates, would love that all the time. If you'd like, you can use Maureen's trick of putting another piece of paper under there so that you don't have so many holes on the next page. But I also think it's okay to make some holes. So both ways. We're gonna do a measurement of 1 inch on our compass. All right, we're gonna do a 1 inch radius, and that's going to give us a 2 inch wide diameter circle. We've got Lieko coming on. She's in the studio now. She's going to draw with us. Love it. I know you're here. Good to see you, not see you. And 1 inch radius on our compass, 1 inch width. And we're going to do the same thing of measuring to the center of the page, right? So 5.5 inches in on the vertical axis. Going to give you the center of the page. We're only worried about the vertical. That being said, one of the cool things is if you do go off the page on this shape, you will still get this shape, right? Like if the circles go off on the top or the bottom by just a little bit, you're still going to get it. The geometry is very forgiving, right? You can do a lot inaccurately and still get an accurate shape.
Do I need to make mine smaller since I'm 12 by 12?
Yes, Corinne, find the center with 6 inches. Perfect.
No, do I need to do less than an inch?
Nope, you're fine. You could go bigger, but stay with an inch so that we're all on the same page. All right, center of the page. Go ahead and darken in that circle. Center there. Let me see, is there anything else I need to remind myself? Center? No, just so you have the orientation, we're doing another seed right here. Okay, so center circle, we're gonna go back to the screen share and I'm gonna show you the process, right? Gotta get out of here and then I'm gonna open up the seed just because we can do it this way, right? So mine progressed from top to the bottom, but first circle goes in the center and then you're gonna place the next compass point like on the vertical axis. So just imagine the center bottom. It does not have to be perfect at all. Compass point goes there. You get your second circle. And then we're a little familiar with the pattern now where that circle is going to give you the intersection on the left side. You're going to use that next intersection and draw the third circle. And it's once you get the hang of this pattern, once you know that it's simply where the current circle intersects with the central circle, that's it. That's where the compass goes every time. Every time. It does not fail. And that is part of what I love about the geometry. It is so comforting and predictable and compassionate in that predictability, because our world is fairly unpredictable. Our existence is fairly unpredictable. So when you have something that can be predictable in its patterning, it's very attractive to me, right? So we've got that basic pattern. Is everybody getting that fundamental pattern? It looks like it's good. Everybody's got the one circle leads into the next. I don't know what's going on here with my lighting, but all right. Looks like it's happening. Beth, how you doing?
It keeps falling out, no matter what I do. So I got one circle, and where do I put the compass for the next circle?
On the very bottom, right at the bottom of the circle. Like if on the vertical bottom, right? So just guesstimate right at the center. And what I'm going to say is that compass failure is the one thing where we have to put it off to the next time, right? Where you'll have to practice on your own if your compass keeps breaking on you, which is such a bummer. But if it can get its act together, we'll keep going. But if it keeps failing you, then we'll have to have you watch and show us during the week what you've got when you've got a working compass. All right. Hopefully it'll work out. Keep me posted. We've got this. Everybody's drawn their seed. We've got circle after circle. Looks like we're getting it. Beautiful. All right. Once again, pause in your day. We don't get enough time to breathe, do we? So if you have this shape already, sit with it. Feel into it. Remember your body, right? Nice. All right. Yes, Beth, how's it going? Is it working out?
Well, I lost the graphite. Now I'm just getting a new one from the little extra package. So I'm still at one circle, but that's okay.
Okay. I think if we're at one circle, I'm gonna have to ask you to do the witness thing. Now, I do that. I ask people to just watch for the class, and then all of a sudden they just completely surprise me, and they're on the same page. So if you want to keep trying, that's great. Otherwise, I don't want you to keep being frustrated by being behind. So your call. Compass failure is so frustrating. So thank you for letting us know, and I'm going to keep going with the next steps. I do really wish we could bring you on board, but we'll keep going. So everyone's got their seed of life now. And what we're going to do is we're going to make where is it? Here we go. We're going to make a 9-inch, we're going to use a 9-inch line on your ruler, right? And we're going to line that 9 inches up with the center point of the seed, right? And I'm just trying to think even if you got a different size paper, I can't see you right in front of me, but this measurement doesn't change. It's still 9 inches. So 9 inches bisects the shape and the 4.5-inch mark, intersects at the center of the seed, right? And you're going to do that on the vertical axis. And then you're going to do that on the 2 diagonal axes, right? You're using the petals. You want to make sure to use the petals as the guideline, right? Once again, the geometry is showing us where to go, right? So make sure you don't go in between the inner petals. You want to cut those inner petals in half 3 different times, vertical, left, and right. Right, so here we've got this 6-sided shape. We're cutting it in half 3 times. All right, everybody got that? Got our 3 lines. Looks like it's still drawing. I don't want to rush anybody. This is a place where you can play with the precision. When you're a good student between classes and you're doing your work and you're drawing another shape, this is the point where you can stop. Yes, I will bring that back up. Yes, you got it right there. Yep. So this is the point where you can pause with accuracy if you, when you're doing this in the future. You could try right now, but there's always a little bit of a rush and we're doing the shape together. So don't worry about imperfection is the bottom line. You can worry about it, but it's not as productive as not worrying about it in terms of allowing for creative flow. But again, that's us and our critical voice. And the geometry really allows an opportunity for reprogramming. Right?
Okay, guys.
What's that? Oh, did somebody say something else? All right. Party going on in the back. Okay. Thumbs up. Everybody's got the shape cuts. Perfect. All right. So Beth, I know you're lagging behind with your compass, but just keep up with us and watch, and then it'll be really familiar for you when you come back online. All right. I know. All right. Good. Okay. Here we go. The next step, right, is that you're going to place your compass point at that top intersection of the circle and the vertical line. Compass point is going to go there, and that's going to give you this circle, right? It's going to look like this when you put your compass point right on that intersection. Your pencil point will then fall on the vertical line, right? And so then your circle is going to be aligned in the vertical axis, as we say, and it will look like this, right? You'll have this shape, and then you want to do it 5 more times. And that's going to look like this. And in the background for me, I'm hearing.
No, they didn't. My pencil broke when they jumped on me. I was like, oh my gosh.
Okay. Chaos. Let me just mute everybody. How do we do that? If you're not on mute, go ahead and please do that, because it'll interrupt the video. I think I got everybody muted. Okay, great. So back to that. Everyone hopefully has gotten to this stage. I'll give it another minute. This is the point where it's great if you can get your circles to kind of kiss each other, right? But you might not. There's likely going to be a little bit of an overlap or a little bit of a space here. You can see it even in the demo here. This one's a little bit farther apart than this one. So just if you'd like to, it's another opportunity to release that desire for perfection, knowing that you can go back and do this again. That motivation to get more and more perfect is an interesting learning tool, right? How are we doing? Great. So we've got all 5. All 6. Let me pop out. Everybody looks like we're still making circles. Good. All right. Let's see. After a while, that process of the circle, like after you can let go of the oh my God, this is what we're doing now, I gotta hurry. When you do this on your own, you could just oh, there's a circle now. And it's just this repetitive, comforting pattern, right? It takes a little bit of practice to get into the nuances of the geometry and what drawing can bring you. And it is its own pressure to do it with people. But it's also so nourishing because you're seeing that everybody else is doing it. You're seeing everybody's pattern and process. So thank you for moving along with everything. It looks like we've got heads up. All right, cool. Here we go. All right. Wherever Pavani is, it's cold. Okay. All right. Here we go. We've got our first, that's our next string of circles, right? And now we're going to do similar but different. Okay. So I always start at the vertical. So we start at the vertical together. Your pencil point, now not your compass point, right? This is the magic inside trick. Pencil point is going to go at the intersection of the circle and the vertical line again at the top. And then your compass point will fall on that line, right? If it's a little bit over, don't worry about it. Just get the general gist, put it on that point, and you'll get a single standing circle. Just like that. Right. So outer ring, once you've got that circle, you want to do it 5 more times. You're going to get this shape. All right. We're going to make it. Oh, we're totally going to make it. All right. So we've got these 6 circles, and you're starting to see that 13 circle template that we breezed past in the overview, right? We're drawing the 13 circles. I think Patch referenced them in the beginning, 13 circles of information, right? This is going to give us the template of our entire reality. It really, it's only after an 8-week course where you see the seed of life, the flower of life, dodecagons, decagons, tesseracts, 64 star tetrahedrons, everything in the universe starts with the seed of life. Everything. It's the germ of life for a reason. You get all the shapes, you get all the structures, fundamental pattern of space-time. It is so cool. There is nothing that doesn't have geometry in it. I'm looking like an absolute geek while you guys are talking and drawing. All right, Pavani, you got it? Oh, you're just flipping this page. Okay, let's see. It looks like circles are happening. Great. Beth, where are you at? How's it going for you? Are you, oh, you're muted though. I muted everybody. It looks like you're coming along with everything. Oh, I don't even know what the big ones. Okay. Oh, it's small. Well, you're muted, so I can't hear you, but I'm getting that you've changed the compass and you're using a pencil now, and it's working a lot better. Great. Can't unmute you. Here we go. Okay.
I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, I've got 3 circles on here, and I don't know the order of putting the circles, but at least something's working better than this is the fancy Fiskars I went out and bought and paid extra money for because I didn't think this one would be as good, and this is a disaster. So
I'm telling you, the simpler the better on our utensils. Awesome.
We review this when you're
absolutely. Absolutely. It's recorded. There's a lot of people joining us for the recording. I appreciate you hanging in there, and it's awesome that you're having your own party with the compass. That's perfect. Metatrons is transmitting through whatever shape you get at the end of this class. All right. So everybody's got 13 circles. All right. Kim's still got a compass up. Don't want to rush anybody. Pavani's got it. Perfect. Brilliant. Thumbs up. I love it so much. Okay. So here we go, 13 circles. Now I believe we are at the point where we're going to darken in. There's 2 kind of fine-tuned tips we're going to do now. If the central lines extended beyond the center point, we're going to erase those tips, right? So what you need to do is find the center point. This is where your compass was on all of the outer circles. All right, find that center point, darken it in, and then erase any little tails or bits of the lines that extend beyond the compass, beyond that center point. Once you've got that, you want to go into the next ring of circles that we drew and darken in the centers of those circles as well. And these are the places where your compass was, right? So there might be a little divot that can help you find it, but you will find it. Just taking a moment, and then darkening in the points, right? Because ultimately what Metatron's cube is connecting every point to every other point. I mean, I could just say it, that's as simple as it is, but it's not as fun if you just do that, right? So erasing the bits on the ends of the lines past the center point, and then darkening in the center points. Correct. So we've got this. I'm going to come out of screen share again. All right. Fine tuning looks great. All right. Once you've done this, I want you to reach in for your colored pencils. You can either do the blind reach or you can do whatever, choose a color by what resonates for you. And we're going to choose 2 different colors because we're going to draw the star tetrahedron and we're going to draw the hexagon.
Where were we putting dots? Sorry, it took me a really long time to
no,
erase.
no rush, no rush. In the center of each a circle, right? So you want to highlight
on the lines.
dots on the lines, and your compass. There might be a little divot where your compass was before. So on the outer ring, and also on the inner ring, because if you make little marks, it's going to be easier to find the points. It's just point to point. It's connecting all the dots. Did that help, Corinne? Are we all set? Yeah. Okay. Thumbs up. Everybody else doing well? We're on board. Okay. Choosing your colors. All right. Okay. Let's see. Beth, you have the unique opportunity to draw your own shape while being in the field of Metatron's cube. So not to worry. It's all transmitting and you're doing a great job just for hanging in there. I really appreciate you. It's fabulous. All right. Pavani, all right. Let's see. Nahum is on his way to something. All right. Thumbs up for everybody. We're ready to go in for the platonic solids. Okay. All right. Maureen has left the building, but I know she's there. Here we go. We're going to choose the first color. All right. And we're going to do hexagons, right? 6-sided shape. Sadly, in my rush with the original shapes, we didn't get to highlight the hexagon, right? But this is fundamental pattern of the universe. So you're just connecting every point on the outside to every point. You're just going around and making this beautiful polygon, right? This outer boundary, this hexagon, 6-sided shape. This is the shape of water crystals. This is, as we know, the shape of honeycomb, right? This is the shape of silica. This is the geometry. It's everywhere, right? We are connecting with that structure, right? And one of the things that I don't get to talk about, that I didn't get to talk about today, is Masaru Emoto's work, right? In terms of working with the geometry. I'm gonna describe that a little as we go along here. Hexagon, outer boundary. Let me just pop out and see if everybody is still drawing. I don't know. Usually, let's see. I wonder if I can. I've just lost at least seeing 4 people when I go to screen share, and that's usually what tips me off as to everybody's process. So still making the hexagon boundaries. Awesome. 6-sided geometry, structure of water. Masaru Emoto's work of it matters the energy that we put into water, into substances. 70% of us being water. There's a geometric structure and it's influenced by the energy that we input, right? So we are tapping into those experiments of how you speak to water changes the structure, right? When we're drawing this hexagon, looks like everybody's got it, right? We are tapping into that. We're giving energy structure. And now we're going to give an inside hexagon, right? We're going to give this shape even more structure. We're going to parallel the outer boundary. We're just doing it on the inside, right? It's going to be the exact mirror, and you're connecting the inner points, right? Point to point, right? And this is 2 hexagons, and in a second, we're going to turn it into the cube, right? But this is the metaphor for as above, so below. As within, so the soul. So many parallels, right? There is no out there without the in here. So you'll see this with the tetrahedrons also, right? That outer sphere influencing the inner and vice versa, right? And these are the 2 hexagons, and the geometry is going to invite us to shift our perspective, right? So right now we see a 2D shape. I'm going to give you 3 lines in a second that are going to pop it into a cube.
Nadia, is that the same color?
Same color. We're same color for the hexagons. Yes. Thank you for clarifying that. We'll only switch colors when we go to the tetrahedron. Right, so hexagon on the outside, on the inside, connecting the points on the outer circles as well as the inner circles, right? 2 polygons, 2 flat, 2-dimensional shapes. And now what we're going to do is we're going to pop it into a cube. And what you need to do that is same color. You're going to darken in the central lines, right? So darkening in, you've already got the lines. You're just using that same color to sharpen it up. And that is going to help you see the cube a little bit more. And you might not see it. Sometimes it's a bit of perceptual play. But this cube is, it's also called a tesseract. It's also called a hypercube. And changing your, using new neural pathways to go back and forth between seeing a 2D shape and then seeing a 3D shape. And then you can play even further, but that's a whole other class. Right, so we've got those 3 lines. What I love seeing is everybody looking back from the page and going, oh yeah, and kind of playing with, everything that you see, different things that you see. All right, heads are nodding, it's looking good. Linda's smiling, she's not drawing, but she's smiling, watching everybody, it's so great. All right, so you've got a cube, right? Kim's looking back in the satisfied way. You've got the 2D and then you've got a 3D, and it starts, you are literally aligning the hemispheres of your brain with these shapes. So much is coming online right now just by drawing a cube, right? Looks like we're drawing still. I don't want to rush anybody. All right, looks good. Thumbs up. We're going ahead with the tetrahedrons, which means we're going to take the next color, right? And I like to do it this way so that we highlight the different platonic solids, right? It's a super cool way. So now, here we go, back into the shape. Everybody's got this. You've got your cube, you've got your hexahedron, super awesome. Now we're going to go into that star tetrahedron, aka Merkaba, right? Upward facing triangle. You are connecting the outer points, right? With the hexagon, we connected every single point going around. Now we're going to skip a point, right? So just creating a nice upward facing triangle by drawing lines, connecting every other point down into the diagonal of each axis, right? Nice base on the horizontal axis between those bottom 2 circles. Remembering to breathe as you draw. We get so caught up in like, oh God, where does the line go? We forget to breathe, as do I. Yeah. Upward facing triangle. Somewhere in the 90% of our subconscious reality, we are activating our Merkaba. We are communicating with the whole part of us that we know that this is our geometric structure, right? And we're going to do that by drawing a downward facing triangle. So you've got 3 open points, and that's going to give you the downward facing triangle. And now this is your star activation system. This is your signal. You are firing up the engines, right? Just by looking at it, just by being at this class, you've already said, yes, please, I want more. And at the beginning, Jet had mentioned the Arcturians, right? The Arcturians being an advanced civilization off planet. Some say extraterrestrial, I say advanced civilizations. They say that the 2 ways to turn on your telepathic abilities are to study sacred geometry and crop circles, right? So I'm all in, and it's activating our latent abilities. And it's so sneaky, totally subversive, and it's happening. So we've got the 2 large triangles. Everybody got their star tetrahedron activated? All right, looking good. Beautiful, right? Here's these geometries. Just like with the hexagon on the outer boundary, now we're going to draw a smaller internal tetrahedron, right? It's going to look like this. Smaller one, upward facing triangle, just like we started with, it's going to parallel that larger one, but we're using the inside points this time, right? The internal points of that circle round. These are touching the tips of the hexagon, right? So the upward facing triangle, uses the points of the hexagon, of the internal hexagon. They're all lining up. And you got to train your eyes to see it. But once you draw that upward facing triangle on the center, in the inside there in the center, there's an octahedron. It's on a bias, right? It's on a bias that is pointing forward and tilted towards you. But there's an octahedron. There's 2 4-sided pyramids in there, right? We don't even really get to talk about the octahedron because it just disappears in here. It's already made. But once you've got that upward facing triangle, you're going to have a downward facing triangle that mirrors it, right? Just like that larger one we drew. There's going to be a downward facing triangle on the inside, right? So here you've got the hexahedron, the cube, the element of earth. Got the tetrahedrons, the element of fire. We've got the octahedron, element of air. We're bringing them all online, and we're actually going to have time to do, are we going to have time? I'd like to check in with people. I think we'll do that next time. That was my plan, was to do this next time. So we're going to do a little check-in, see how everybody's doing. But we've actually gotten what we needed to get done. Is that right? Let's see. Everybody's got 2 star tetrahedrons, 2 Merkabas activated, and these shapes fractalize infinitely. Infinitely out, infinitely in. I'm such a dork. I'm an awesome dork. That's what's happening. It's a really good thing to be excited about. Should I put it back up? Is that what that is? One more time. Everybody got the triangles? All right. Okay. So everybody's got this shape so far? Yes. Okay. I think we're actually going to do it. We're going to go for it. We can have everything. We can draw the next lines and we can do a check-in. So 3rd color, laying the foundation for the full Metatron's cube. What I want to say is, let's pause with this for a moment though. Look at how cool that is. This is its own drawing point, right? Like if you were to not use colored pencils and just do this shape, there's so much spaciousness and cool patterns in here that is just like the launch point for good art. So I like this point to draw from, to create from, because as we're going to get into the next lines, it's going to get a little bit complex, harder to find patterns, not impossible. Okay, so we got our 3rd color. Here's what we're doing. We have consistently gone on the outside and then on the inside, right? Around these circle rings. What we're going to do now is cross from the outside into the inside. I'll show you what I mean. Here we go. Last color. This is the pattern that we're doing. It's an open-ended pattern. So you're going to start from the outside, outer point. You're going to come across to the inside, and what you're looking for are the points of the tetrahedron, right? You align this shape up with the inner tetrahedron points, right? So it's a small triangle. There's no base to it with that color. The tetrahedron completes it. But you're going to do that shape on both sides of the bisecting line, right? So top, outside to inside on the right side, outside to inside on the left side. Take your time and find it. At this point, your brain is a little bit altered. There's serious symmetry in here that your brain is harmonizing with. You are in training with the symmetry and balance of the geometry, and you don't even know it's happening. You don't have to bring any attention to it whatsoever. It's just happening organically with the geometry, right? So hopefully we've got this shape, and as we now know, we're going to do that 5 more times, right? So you're going to pivot to the next outer point. I go clockwise. However you want to do it's fine. You're going to start at the outer point and come in and across 5 more times. It's going to look just like this. It repeats the pattern, and it does get a little messy at this point, but you can do it. Your brain can do it. Call on Metatron, say, help me get through this, make it beautiful, whatever you want to do. But there's a high success rate with this one. So hang in there and breathe if it's hard to find a line. and then it will magically emerge, right? Ah, my goodness, Metatron. It's been 13 years, lifetimes, and I've only recently begun to make connections between both Metatron and the Arcturians, right? So they're all in the mix, they're all in the class, and they're all related. And the geometry has expanded my consciousness to understand the connections, to go from the earthly realms out to the cosmic realms, and then into the real, parallel and multidimensional realms. It just never ends when you're drawing this stuff. It compels the next level of expansion. You can't help it. You've signaled to your psyche that you're ready. Right? So we got to put our seatbelts on. I'm going to come out of the screen share and totally come back in. How's it going? Did we get it? We're still drawing. It looks good. All right. Linda's done. That's great. All right. Finding it. Looks like we're finding it. Once you've got the pattern, it's a repeating pattern. So it's showing you the way every time. Geometry is just showing us the way. It's like we're still getting it. How's it going? Heads are down. Nice deep breath. Things gonna work out just fine. We could do some what is it? Is it ESMR? I never quite understand it, but I could just we could do a drawing class where I just simply have the images up and I program. Everything's gonna be just fine. just the whole time positive influencing. Keep going. Take
Could you put the
breath.
picture back up again,
Of
please?
course I can. Yes. So soothing. There you go. Was that Pavani? Is it making sense with the picture up there?
Yeah, that's helpful. Thank you.
Great. This is the part when it gets a little bit more complex where I really love to be able to bounce around from table to table and go, oh, there's a line there, because it gets a little tricky to find the lines towards the end here because we've scrambled our brains. We've scrambled them towards alignment. And one of the things I like to encourage people to do is to pay attention to the dream time. And once you've got your shape, if you're gazing at it lovingly or critically, the invitation is to do both or just lovingly. Put it under your pillow tonight. See what happens if you dream with it. Talk to it before you go to sleep. Say, hey, Metatron, I would love some information that I can remember when I wake up. Woo! Deja vu. So you might be looking at your shape and going, oh, here's what I screwed up. And that voice sadly doesn't go away. But do consider inviting the positive voice that says, oh my God, I did that so well. Or, oh, I love this part. However you can find it, this is a really great opportunity to reprogram the critical voice, which is part of what keeps us away from art a lot of the time. Okay, I'm thinking some people have it. You're looking back in a satisfied way. Can we do a little go around? We can only do a hold up. So Kim's got hers. Let's see what you got. You got to pause for me to spotlight you. There it is. You're on mute. What do you think? Oh, beautiful.
That was highly activating and satisfying in a really weird way. Love it.
Awesome. Yeah, you look turned on. It's true. That is beautiful. So beautiful. Yeah. Now, here's the thing. Since y'all are from Jocelyn's tape, I'm going to invite you to substitute the word weird for extraordinary. Wait, I flipped that. Substitute the word extraordinary for weird, because what you're doing is turning yourself on in an extraordinary way. Weird, crazy, all of them, quirky, whatever. Extraordinary. All right, Lisa, you got it up in the air. Let me see. Let me spotlight you. Oh, brilliant. You're muted. What do you think?
I love it. I totally felt like this shift in my consciousness, the further into it we got. It's pretty transcendental.
Yeah, it's so exciting, right? And you can do it. Like you just did that and now it's yours. It's not just some like ephemeral in the air, in the field thing. It's grounded in this beautiful drawing. It's so pretty. Oh, thank you. And if you notice, like it's the same geometry and we'll see it with everybody's, but like, you know, Kim's is, we got the light, the color, and then Lisa's has this like intensity, you know, firm pressure on the lines, you know, and everybody's is going to look different with how it shows up. Does anybody else want to share? I'd love to see them. We've got, all right. Okay, Maureen's got us. Maureen's beat us to it. Let me see. Let me spotlight you. Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, fabulous. You're on mute. You got it. You're on mute. Yeah. Oh, gosh. What do you think?
I just love it. It's such a wonderful way to spend a day, and I will put it under my pillow.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Thank you. Part of me feels scrambled, my brain feels scrambled, but part of me feels free. So there we go.
Oh, it's both, right? It's the holy both. Scrambled and free. It's wonderful. And I love it that you've got your day ahead of you. All of us are going into the night where it's easier to remember to dream, but you've got the day. But one thing that you're reminding me of is, since it's your day ahead, leave it out. Don't close it into the pad. Put it somewhere.
Oh, no, I'll leave it out. Yeah, sure.
Well, you and everybody, I'm talking to everybody, you know, but like have it in your field, have it activating you. Like, don't, you know, don't tuck it away. And start another one that you could even like walk past and do a little bit on every time, you know, just keep it alive during this week. And I'm even going to say, it's awesome if you draw another one. It just deepens the process. So, okay, someone else was going to jump. I think, Corinne, were you simultaneously jumping in there? You want to show us what you got? Hang on, let me get you. Yes. What do you think?
I need to make my circles darker, but I'm very happy. Made me happy.
Awesome. Congratulations at what you just done. Yeah, beautiful accomplishment. Very happy. We love that. That's part of why I love this, because it's like, you know, Beth, my sadness that you didn't get it right now, but you will get it. And so it's just always, I don't know that I've ever had a class where someone can really get hard on themselves. That does happen, but then the invitation and the softness is also in the package, but usually we get it. So Mary Pat, you're nodding. Let's see how yours was. How'd it go? You can come off mute and tell us what you think. Oh, brilliant.
Mine did not turn out. And I caught what I did, you know, what I did wrong. But what I like about this is, you know, there's the cat's cradle that you do with string on your fingers, and that's what it reminds me of.
It does. It does. And I love that you're leading with loving it. Can you pull it back a little bit? Because your colors are so awesome. We can only just, and then up a little bit. Yeah. Do you know what that looks like to me? It actually looks like you've gone hyperdimensional and that we're seeing it on an angle that's just like into space, which is so cool. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, well done. Love it. It's like no matter what it looks like, it's the geometry, you know, it's still a win. Thank you so much. That is beautiful. All right. Let's see who else we got. Pavani, yours is right at the base. I can see. Do you want to share? I'm calling everybody else.
I am super spacey. I think I missed something between the 5th and 9th dimension here, but anyway.
That's great. Oh my goodness, look at it. Oh, what do you think?
It's so playful. I just was laughing. It was amazing. Thank you so much.
Good. Oh, you're so welcome. There's so much involved, right? There's a process that's being turned on. And that's it happens across the whole spectrum. And if it's laughter and enjoyment, it's probably a little easier. But if it's like, oh, I screwed this up, it's happening. We have a choice, right? It's all a choice point as to how we want to move forward. Just by looking at it, what are you talking to yourself? How are you talking to yourself? And the geometry is, you know, taking shape into harmony with the loving conversation, you know. All right. Naham, Lee goes in her studio. All right, Jet, let's see. Let me spotlight you. All right. Oh my brilliance. Look at that. Oh, you went bigger with your circles. I love it.
I know, somehow it was like it went off the page. It's expanding. It felt like a very expanding experience. I
Yeah.
feel expanded, yeah.
Yeah. Now, do you have an 8.5 by 11?
No.
Oh, what? It looks regular.
Oh yes, it's just a regular.
Okay, so you kept the measurements the same. And what I love about that, what I'm like taking from that is like, I will not be restricted. You know?
I know, it feels like it's just going to keep going.
Yeah, it just no stopping you now. Thank you. All right. And Linda, what's your experience been watching along? What do you think?
Oh, totally fascinating. I was just, I love seeing your examples of how you build, each example, how it built. And I could feel it in myself, just becoming more fascinated. And it just stimulated a lot of thoughts and wondering. And I just kind of went on mental walkabout and into a wonderful space. So I was kind of doodling, just free drawing, but seeing how your examples of it building, it was really awesome and fascinating.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Otherwise known as tripping.
Yeah. Close.
It's a good sober high.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's been lovely to have you along for the ride. Let's see. Nahum, we've got you. Yes, please. I'm going to spotlight you. All right. Oh my goodness. You're on mute. Tell us what you think. Oh, yes. Beautiful. Mm-hmm.
I think it looks good.
Yes. How do you feel? What's your observation of it?
Pretty spiritual experience, I guess. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
I'm kind of overwhelmed.
Everything comes up, right?
Yep. Everything comes up. Thank you.
It's really beautiful. Looks very successful from over here. Looks lovely. And we started out with our intentions. This geometry contains our intentions, or perhaps it contains what we experienced in doing it, right? Accomplishments, pride, enjoyment, consternation. It's all in there. And when you breathe and look at it, I want to encourage when we hang up, which we're going to do soon. Hang up, is that right? End the call. It's like old school. Pause with it, breathe with it, revisit that intention, feel, right? Like we've been in our heads, like drop in and breathe and feel it, right? And dream with it, play with it. I really hope you do draw another one between now and next week. I feel like Mothership's on. Hey, how are you doing? Can we hear from you? Do you want to, were you drawing? You're muted. You want to come off mute? How you doing? Oh, can you unmute? Nope, doesn't look like we can. Okay, but we're there and we can see you and it's awesome. Welcome. Oh, but you are muted and we can't hear you, even though I know you're talking. We could. Okay, there it is. We're going to come off mute.
There.
Yes. All right.
Just say I've been listening. I didn't have time to get my supplies today, so I hop on and I'll get them tomorrow and do the drawings and everything. I'll be back and for the next one. But I just want to say that I really loved your energy and how you teach and everything that you had to say about everything. So thank you for a lovely evening.
Oh, thank you so much for coming on and saying hi. Yeah, I never stopped talking throughout the whole thing, but that's
good.
Yeah, but we walk together with it, right? I'm with you, and there's so much information. There's no way I can shut up. It's handy that way. Did I miss anybody? Pamela, did I miss anybody?
I just asked, can we review what you recorded so I could try to do this week?
Absolutely. That is the whole point. So you'll get the recording. It takes about a half an hour for Zoom to process it. You will get the recording. You will get the PDF. You'll get the sequencing of both the seed and Metatrons, right?
Okay.
And there'll be a couple of nuggets of information. It will come to you to absolutely support you drawing and doing this on your own. So Beth, how are you doing? How's it going? How do you feel?
Well, I mean, I feel like I enjoyed watching everybody else, but I didn't do anything. So I'm hoping that's why I would like to get the recording so I could try to do something this week.
You absolutely will get the recording, and I'm going to challenge you a little bit. You absolutely did do something by hanging in there and not getting totally frustrated with the compass. You're still on the call. You could have been like, I'm out, but you hung in there, and that's huge. So I just want to acknowledge that. Well done.
I'm here for the party.
Here for the party, Beth, right on. Me too. Sometimes I forget. Pamela, I don't think we heard you. We are at the top of the hour, a little bit past it, but I don't want to leave you out if you're there and you want to say anything. There was one thing. Yes. So we've basically drawn, there you are. You want to
Yeah.
say anything? How's it
No,
going?
yeah, I'm like Beth. I want to get all this stuff because I had to step away for a few minutes because of a phone thing. So I started a little bit and then I had to step away. So I got to listen and see what everybody else did. So I definitely
Awesome.
want to do it.
Yeah.
And so then I'm ready next week. And next week,
Next week.
Next week, I'm gonna tell everybody, leave me alone.
Leave me alone. Let the world go. And yes, just enough to tantalize you. And what I want to piggyback on that is to say, this is such a sharp tool for meditation, because as you can see, we haven't thought about anything else for the last, with the exception of Pamela, who was interrupted. It's all consuming, and it completely tickles your left brain. It's preoccupied, which is the hard part of meditation, of just sitting quietly in that monkey mind. So you're giving your left brain something to do. And then that's why we breathe, is because you can open to the left side. You can open to that receptivity of your higher self and the information that wants to come through. So pay attention, just meditate. You've done it. You've just done a brilliant job. Thank you all so much. And I can't force anything, but I want to encourage you to draw during the week, right? And we do take a peek next week to see what you've done. No pressure. If life is so full that you're just barely showing up, no pressure whatsoever. It's in your conscious awareness and your subconscious. It's with you, however it shows up, just bringing your attention to that. And it has been such a pleasure and an honor. I will see you all next week. I will send the recording in about a half an hour. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful week. Yeah.
Thank you.
Take
Thank you.
care.
Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much, everybody.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Namaste.
Everyone. Bye.